we took the name Beverly Hills Shaman. It's sort of like a fun play on it, that someone from Beverly Hills is going to try. So I'm like a shaman in training, and all the people who watch, we're learning lessons together. Today, we're experiencing you, Bob, because you're walking, you set a certain path. You're walking, I won't label it, but a path of light.
Well, I'm trying to learn to live like a decent human being. That's what I'm really doing.
Isn't that the best? So it has a practical, everyday, what you were saying, application. What do you call yourself? Are you a pathfinder? Are you, because we were just on a path looking for, by the way, looking for the gold mine up here. Here's one of our test mines before we hit the big one, before we really did it. You can see we didn't get down very far. That's where I got struck by the lightning and didn't go back for a second. I
haven't gone back for a second helping?
No second helpings here.
I would probably call myself a pilgrim.
Yay! What an honor.
Peace pilgrim, all right.
Well, it's better than being a turkey, right?
You're a pilgrim. The peaceful
so.
pilgrim. Did you know about her, the lady who walked?
Oh, I've heard of her. Of course, we've never met, but she seems to be an admirable person.
She passed on.
Did she? The same way when one is practicing the inner way to a place where we can ride reasonably well, we can't really say very much about the shamanic path. Then how do you know when you're in the presence of such a person? Well, you watch them in the maelstrom of life with skill, with discipline, with compassion, with love, with patience. You know the list.
I love the list. No,
Yes.
that we're hearing the list and you never hear it enough.
Well, that's true.
Never practice it enough. Humanity needs it more than ever.
Well, our people are starving.
They are starving.
And
Emotionally, spiritually,
Yep.
and
Physically.
in all ways.
Yes,
And
at
so,
every level.
Yeah, every level.
Yes, of course.
What would you recommend to parents today who are so overwrought, stressed out, working jobs, sitting in traffic? They're not up here in Gold Hill in this little paradise. How are we going to reclaim and help our children now?
You want a real short answer?
However you want to give it.
Start with prayer. If you don't ask for help, you're not going to get it. Because one of the cardinal rules of all this stuff is that the genuine, let's call it power, is prohibited from intervening in the processes that we're embroiled in unless the door's been opened. And the way you open the door is you ask. Say, okay, help. I need, I don't know enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not fast enough. I'm not bright enough. I'm not courageous enough. All of the stuff that, all of this list of things that we can look at ourselves and say, boy, I wish I were more ... Okay, well, if we want to be more ... we have to ask.
Mm-hmm.
In the Sufi tradition, which is in my own background, there is a saying that capacities grow in response to need. Mm-hmm. Therefore, O necessitous one, increase your need. We are needy, all of us, but how conscious are we
Of our needs.
of our true need? And they have kids to raise, they have rent to pay, they have 1,000 things that are part of their necessities. Well, so, number one, pray. Number two, begin the process of pruning away those things that are not absolutely essential. Get rid of stuff, get rid of obligations, and perhaps above all, prune away those relationships which are not serving your highest good. You have to be ruthless about this.
This is so tough. This means that we have to be, first of all, humble, vulnerable. That is the biggest struggle. This ego keeps saying, well, I'm not going to show anybody how weak I am. I got to fake this out. And there's so much of that.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. And so it becomes an inauthentic self. we go through the motions and our life slips away, and one day we're very sad. There's so many sad people because we didn't do what you said. And in this process, like our highest good, because we don't know that, we've lost our way, many of us. What would you say is also a determiner from the inside out to know you're in your highest good, or you're just in desire, or you're in something that you need to do because that's what humanity needs as well as yourself?
Well, I can only echo what's been said before, which is make that 18-inch journey from here to here. Move out of the intellect and into the heart. And this, the very idea for many people is so foreign that they say, what do you mean?
I know.
You know? Give yourself permission to imagine that your awareness has moved out of your head and has come to rest very gently and very undemandingly in the heart. So, yes, one drops into the heart, one demands nothing, but one listens. And when one gets to the place where one starts to get a hint of the sweetness of that space, then you can begin to, I'm starting to, what, smell the roses? Acknowledge the reality of 3, which is the response. Where is the response going to be felt? It's going to be felt first here. And then for those of us who have learned a little bit about how to recognize the metaphoric significance of what's happening in the space around us, we will see that more and more with practice, that what's happening around us is the answer in metaphor. Sometimes it's literal and it's complete and you say, whoa. You know, it's almost na 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 na. But most of the time it's going to be metaphor. It's going to be subtle, but all the more beautiful in some ways for that subtlety.
How can we become more aware to see these signs, to start to learn, have the ability, they don't teach this in school, to recognize the metaphor. They teach you the word and what it means, but in life, you get a flat tire. Is that a metaphor? I mean, what
Can be.
It can be. Yeah, you better get a new tire. But
Yeah.
not to make excuses along the way. We're in, there's an excuse, there's blame, we operate out of, rather than taking what you're saying, the responsibility is step 3,
Right.
is the responsibility. So what you're really saying is that we need to recognize these signs that are the potent answers to the questions of our life. If we look at them, are they the mirrors when we hear, this is a mirror speaking to me? I meet a person who's a nasty person. Is that part of me showing me? Is that the type of metaphor we're talking about?
You know the answer to your own question now, don't you?
I do. And I'm asking you because we want to share this with others. And as we're growing on this path, when it's easy to get lost, we're taking stones here and we're marking the trail. And part of marking the trail and being a trailblazer and a pathfinder, you see how we're piling up 3 rocks? And we're doing this so that from a distance we'll be able to see this on the way back. And what we call this is a cairn. And that is the name that all of the trailblazers understand.